The history of Amsterdam dates back to the 13th century, when the city was founded as a small fishing village on the banks of the Amstel River. In the following centuries, Amsterdam grew into a thriving trade center, thanks to its strategic location at the mouth of the river and its well-developed network of canals. In the 14th and 15th centuries, Amsterdam was an important port city, with a thriving shipping industry. The city was also known for its cloth and woolen industries, and it was an important center for trade in these goods. During the Middle Ages, Amsterdam was a relatively small and isolated city. It was surrounded by walls and was connected to the rest of the country by a network of waterways. However, despite its size, Amsterdam was a vibrant and thriving community with a rich cultural and intellectual life. It was home to many artists, writers, and intellectuals, and was a hub of the European Renaissance. Overall, the Middle Ages were a time of growth and prosperity for Amsterdam, and laid the foundations for the city's future as a major cultural and economic center. In the 16th century, Amsterdam became a center of the Protestant Reformation, and many Protestant refugees from other parts of Europe fled to the city to escape persecution. This influx of refugees helped to make Amsterdam a diverse and cosmopolitan city, and it also helped to spur the city's economic growth. One of the key events of the 16th century was the construction of the city's canals. In the early 17th century, Amsterdam was facing a population explosion and a housing crisis. To solve this problem, the city authorities decided to build a network of canals to create more land for housing. This project, known as the Grachtengordel, or Canal Ring, transformed Amsterdam into the city we know today. The canals became a key part of the city's identity and helped make Amsterdam one of the most beautiful cities in the world. In addition to the construction of the canals, the 16th century was also a time of great cultural and intellectual growth for Amsterdam. The city was home to many artists, writers, and philosophers, and was a hub of the European Enlightenment. The city's golden age began in the 17th century, when it became a major hub for the Dutch East India Company and a center of international trade. The Dutch East India Company was established to trade with the East Indies, which included present-day Indonesia and parts of Southeast Asia. The company was given a monopoly on Dutch trade with these regions, and it quickly became a major player in the spice trade. In addition to spices, the company also traded in other goods such as textiles, silk, and porcelain. During this time, Amsterdam became one of the wealthiest and most influential cities in Europe, and it attracted a diverse population of merchants, artists, and intellectuals. One of the most notable figures of this era was Rembrandt van Rijn, who lived and worked in Amsterdam from 1631 to 1669. His portrait paintings are notable for their depth and intimacy. Many of his best-known works are self-portraits, including his most famous painting, The Night Watch. He also produced many paintings of everyday life, including The Milkmaid and The Music Lesson. Rembrandt was a master at using light and shadow in his paintings, and his work is characterized by his use of dramatic chiaroscuro. He was also a skilled etcher, and his etchings are highly prized for their technical skill and beauty. He was one of the most famous painters of the Dutch Golden Age, and his works can still be seen in the city's museums today. In the 18th and 19th centuries, Amsterdam continued to thrive as a center of trade and commerce, and it also became a center of art and culture. The city was home to many famous writers, artists, and musicians, including Vincent van Gogh, who lived and worked in Amsterdam for a time. One of the key events of this period was the Industrial Revolution, which had a major impact on Amsterdam. The city underwent a period of rapid industrialization, with new factories and businesses being established and the city's infrastructure being modernized. This led to a growth in the city's population as people flocked to Amsterdam in search of work. One of the key events of the 20th century was the Second World War. Amsterdam was occupied by Nazi forces during the war, and the city suffered significant damage. An important piece of history during this time was Anne Frank, a young Jewish girl who is famous for her diary, which documents her experiences during the Holocaust. Anne was born in Frankfurt, Germany, but her family fled to the Netherlands in 1933 to escape persecution by the Nazi Party. In 1942, when Anne was 13 years old, Her family went into hiding in an annex above her father's business in Amsterdam to avoid being arrested by the Nazis. Anne's diary, which she wrote during her time in hiding, provides a detailed and moving account of her experiences and emotions during this period. In 1944, the Frank family was discovered and arrested by the Nazis. Anne and her sister Margot were sent to the Auschwitz concentration camp, where they both died of typhus in 1945. Anne's diary was published after the war and has since become a widely read and influential document. It has been translated into many languages and has inspired numerous plays, movies, and other works of art. In the latter half of the 20th century, Amsterdam became a major tourist destination. The city's beautiful canals, historic buildings, and vibrant culture attracted visitors from all over the world. The city's museums and galleries, including the Rijksmuseum and the Van Gogh Museum, also became popular attractions. Today, Amsterdam is known for its extensive network of bike paths and its large population of cyclists. Biking is a popular mode of transportation in the city, and it is estimated that there are more bikes than residents in Amsterdam. The city's bike culture is a result of a combination of factors. One reason is the city's flat terrain, which makes biking a convenient and easy way to get around. In addition, Amsterdam's narrow streets and crowded pedestrian areas make biking a more efficient way to travel than driving a car. Another reason for the city's bike culture is the city's commitment to sustainability and environmentalism. Amsterdam has implemented a number of policies and initiatives to encourage biking and other forms of sustainable transportation, such as bike sharing programs and the expansion of bike lanes. The city's bike culture is also a reflection of the Dutch lifestyle. Biking is a popular leisure activity in the Netherlands, and many Dutch people own bikes and use them for both transportation and recreation. Overall, biking is an integral part of life in Amsterdam, and it is an important aspect of the city's culture and identity. Amsterdam is the capital and largest city of the Netherlands, and it is home to more than 880,000 people. It is a popular destination for tourists from all over the world, and it is known for its liberal attitudes towards drugs and sex work. The city's canal district, known as the Grachtengordel, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it is home to many beautiful houses, churches, and other historic buildings. Amsterdam is also home to many parks and green spaces, which offer a respite from the city's busy streets.